Friday morning, everybody. Welcome to my channel. This is Dana. I hope you're all doing well today. And today our project is going to be Christmas tags. And what I'm doing is I'm starting a new series. I was watching, and this was several months ago, I was watching Jill Norwood on her channel. And she had just the neatest idea that I love that I would like to do this year. And what she does every year is she creates Christmas tags all the way up until like Thanksgiving. And then for all her loved ones and friends, what she does for Thanksgiving is she gives them a package of Christmas tags as a Thanksgiving present. To kind of bring in the holiday season. And I just thought that was a wonderful idea, and I would like to try that this year. Last year, I made several. I made several Christmas tags last year, and because what I did was I did a craft fair last year, and which I won't be doing again this year. But I had so much fun making Christmas tags all the way up until my craft fair in December, and then I packaged them up. And I did not make duplicates. I mean, I had 10 Christmas tags in each pouch, and all of the tags in each pouch were different from each other, so there was not a duplicate tag. There were the same tags in each bag, but within the bag, there were no duplicates of each other. There were 10 different Christmas tags. And at my craft fair, I do have to say, I almost sold out of those. They were a favorite item. And so this series, even if you don't want to follow along as far as Thanksgiving presents go, if you're doing a craft fair, like I said, this was a bestseller at my craft fair. So what we're going to do is once a week, this will be a series that we'll do for the next like 3 months or so. So I'm going to do packages of a dozen tags for my loved ones. I'm probably going to make about a dozen each of each tag that we show. And every Friday is going to be Christmas Tag Friday here on my YouTube channel. And we'll do a different Christmas tag every Friday and that will take us up into the beginning part of November. So at the beginning of November, if you're following along with me, we'll have all of our packages ready to go for Thanksgiving. No stress about that. They'll already be done. So if you would love to join me in this, I would be so happy if you followed along with me and took on this challenge with me. I just think it's wonderful. I've never thought about giving a gift of at Thanksgiving for any of my loved ones, but what a neat present from a crafter to be able to create. Tags are one of my favorite things to create because they're such a tiny little canvas. As you can see, I'm going to show you, I love to do tags. I'm going to show you my little tag bin here. This is all tags. So I just love to make tags. So I am going to be utilizing these. I'm doing a tag swap right now at Crafty Crafts by Dina. So some of those will get used in my tag swap, but I love to make tags. They're one of my favorite things, and rosettes are another one of my favorite things. So these are the cute little Christmas tags that we're going to make today. So they are little rosette tags, and here's the back. Really cute. Very unique to go on a package. So let's get started. I'm first going to let you know what we need. I've got my glue gun heating up over here to the side. I want to show you the stamp sets that I used for this. They're both Maymay Made It. Okay. And I used this one, and it's called Ornamental Greetings. And I utilized this We Wish You a Merry Christmas for the front. And then on the back, my to and from and the little Merry Everything came from this stamp set, which is called Christmas Stitched Shapes. So those are the stamps that I utilized. You do not have to have these particular stamps. Anything that you have will work. You can handwrite these things in different color inks. You can use, if you do not have any Christmas stamps here for the middle of the rosette, which I did not last year, I'll tell you. All I did last year was I put a little embellishment here on the front, a little Christmas embellishment, maybe from some, I believe it was from a paper pad, a Christmas paper pad. That's what I did last year. You could also utilize, if you buy any of the cute little Christmas tags or anything at Dollar Tree, you could use the fronts of those as the embellishment on here. It's endless. The possibilities are absolutely endless on how to embellish these. So do not think that you need to have these specific stamp sets to do this project. Okay, now that that is all out of the way, I'm going to put these aside and let's get started. I'm going to do 2 of them on camera with you because I need 2 more. So we'll do those together. So what I have to start with, and I'll just work on both of these together. So for each step, I'll do both of them. You need a 4 by 12 strip of Christmas paper. And what I'm going to do is bring in my scoreboard. And I'm going to score this sheet. Make sure I'm in camera. I'm going to score this sheet every 1/2 inch. So at 1/2 inch, and then at 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, and 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5. You get the picture. So I'm going to get these scored up. I just love how these tags turned out. And when I did them last year, I had to recreate them this year because I just love them. They're so unique. You know, I'd never seen anybody do a rosette Christmas tag before. So let me get my second strip done here. Starting over here at 1/2 inch. And just scoring every 1/2 inch all the way down the strip of the paper. So I had never seen a rosette Christmas tag before. Now I'm sure somebody has created this before. I'm not the first one. I never believe that I'm the first one to create anything. Even if I haven't seen it, it doesn't mean that it's not out there. So I'm just going to finish getting this scored. Okay, last one. There we go. Now we can put this aside. Now what we're going to do is take our paper trimmer and I'm going to trim these in half at 2. And the reason that we didn't do that first is because, you know, scoring is, you know, kind of a pain to do when you're doing it every 1/2 inch. So we only had to score once, and then we just trim it down to 2. Instead of having to take 2 by 12 pieces and then scoring each one of those, we just cut our scoring work in half is what we did. Okay, so now what we're going to do is on my, let me find a solid one. I used an edge punch on these just to make them prettier and give them a little more interest. So that's what I'm going to do to these. I just think it gives the edge of your rosettes so much more, it just makes them pretty. Now, if you do not have edge punches, you do not have to do this step. Your rosettes will look pretty whether you have an edge punch on them or not. I'm just utilizing tools that I have that I want to use. So I'm just going to punch all the way down on these. Now, if you don't know how to use an edge punch, usually I just start punching in the middle. And then what you do is you just pull it over to the left or right, depending on which direction you're moving in, and you just match up your paper to the little design that's on the side there. And they have it on both sides, so as you do both sides, you just match up with the pattern. I love edge punches. I have so many of them because I love the look. Okay, let's get this last little part, and that's what we have. Okay, so I'm going to run through. I've picked out two, actually, I think I'm going to do one in each design. I have two edge punches that I'm going to use, so instead of having one design for... Oh, you know what? I just messed up. Oh, well. We're just going to use this one edge punch. I'm sorry about that. I just wasn't even thinking. It's very early in the morning here. I just dropped my daughter off at school, so it's like 7 o'clock in the morning, so it's really early. These two strips are going to make one rosette. So I was going to do one rosette in one edge punch and one rosette in the other. But then I pulled this one in and ruined it. Okay, so do you see how I missed that little part right here? No worries. All I do is go in, making sure this is in the punch. And I match up the design on either side. And then I just punch and see. It's no big deal if you happen to miss a section. You just line up and keep on going. All right, let me do these other two. As I was saying, we need two strips to make one rosette. So as I sat and was pulled in the other design, I then pigeonholed myself to use that design on both. That's okay. It's a pretty punch. I really like it. Oh, see, I missed that spot again. I keep moving a little too far over. But no big deal. Just go back and get it. Yeah, it's kind of a little boring to just sit and watch me edge punch my papers. I don't edit my videos. I don't have the kind of software that's really needed to do that. And I'm just, it's not really me. I'm the kind of person that is just, you know, this is my life and what I like to do. And if I make a mistake, personally, I like to leave those in. Just because inevitably we always make mistakes when we're crafting. And sometimes it's helpful. It's very helpful to see somebody make a mistake and see how they fix it. Because inevitably you're going to make a mistake at some point creating a project. And, you know, it's helpful to know how somebody may have fixed that particular mistake. So I just let my camera roll and then I just publish my video. However it comes out. If my dogs bark in the background or, you know, whatever. I mean, my YouTube channel isn't about perfection in any sense of the word. This is me, this is my life, and it's what I like to do. I love to craft. And so, this is what I do. And I you know, all natural, here I am. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. 2 strips make 1 rosette. So we're going to fold on our score lines. We're going to take this first strip of this plaid paper and we're going to fold it away from us. Okay? And then we're going to just accordion fold on those score lines all the way down the strip. And it doesn't take long. Just make sure I'm in frame for you here. And you just back and forth, back and forth. Just kind of squeezing as you go along. We are not going to use our bone folder on these, okay? Because we don't want them to be completely pressed down. I mean, you can squeeze them with your fingers, that's fine. But the more, and you don't want to leave them totally loose either, but without using the bone folder, you get a better spread, see? Now, if the lines were nice and crisp, these lines right here would be a lot thinner, and it's just preference, okay? So no big deal. If you want to use your bone folder, that's fine. Okay, so you see how we started away from us here on this one? On the second strip, we're going to fold toward us, so we're going to do the opposite. This is just so that we have ends that are going to meet up really nicely. And then we're just going to accordion fold all the way down. All right. So this one is done. And the ends, like if you started away toward you on this end, the other end's going to end up that way as well. Okay, so this one's done. Let me do the other one really quick. Like I said, it just does not take long because you've scored it. So they're just going to kind of naturally fold. And then sometimes you'll find that score line you'll kind of get off a little bit. And that's no big deal. You just go with it and, you know, fix it and, you know, refold it. And you should be able to correct it. So that one went away from me, so this one goes toward me. So we'll get this done really quick. Now, as we put these together, I'm going to use my hot glue gun. I have found hot glue gun adhering paper to paper works really well for me. It's not, you know, but if you do not have a hot glue gun, I would suggest wet glue or score tape. Either one of those will work well, but you will need a hot glue gun, and I'll show you where for in the middle. Okay, now what we need to do, which I realized I have not done in advance, so let me grab my punches. I'm going to use my 1-inch punch. And then I'm going to use my, I don't know what punch this is, but it doesn't really matter. Whatever you have. This is about 1 1/4. And I'm going to take just a scrap piece of paper. Let me find a scrap piece of paper. And it does not matter what color it is. This is going to get covered up. And I'm going to punch one hole. I mean, we're going to punch one circle out of each one. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is set these aside for a moment. We're going to adhere our strips together. So I'm going to take my hot glue gun and I'm just going to run some glue right here on this tab. Then I'm just going to lay this into that hot glue. Careful, it's hot. Okay, and that's just going to hold our rosette together. And then we're going to grab the other end. I'm going to fold it around like this. And we're going to put these ends together. Laying those together. And see how nicely those lay together because they are going in different directions. All right, so this is what we have. Let's do the other one. Again, we'll lay glue into this area right here. And then we'll match these together. Being careful not to burn ourselves. I've got some little glue bits hanging out, so I'm just going to wipe those off. And I'll turn it over and do the other side. We'll just lay these together and we'll hook these together like this. All right. So this is what we have. So we've got two pieces that look like this. Just gonna get some of the glue off my fingers here. I can never use hot glue without making a complete mess of it, but that's okay. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is take the biggest of my two circles here, and again, I needed two of these, not one, so I'm just gonna punch another one of each size. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this over with our punched side flat on the mat. And I'm just gonna fold it and kind of train it to go where I want it to go. So to make your rosette, you're just gonna, what I do is I just encircle it with my fingers and I press down. And as you press down, it should naturally fall into that rosette shape. So there we go. Now it's kind of trained how we want it to go. So what I'm gonna do is very carefully, not hitting my fingers, I'm gonna run glue all around this circle. And then I'm gonna lay it flat on my surface. I'm gonna put my rosette and center it over the top. And then I'm gonna press my rosette down and into that glue, and I'm gonna hold it there. And that's why it helps to kind of train it ahead of time to go into that position, because once you have the hot glue and you're trying to get it into the hot glue, it's just boom, it should go right in because you've already made that shape once. All right, so now what I'm going to do is take my small circle. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the inside of my little hole in the middle of my rosette. So I'm just going to kind of fill it with glue. And then I'm going to put glue on this little circle. And I'm going to cover up that little hole on the top. Now, the glue is hot, so be careful. What I usually like to do is take like the palm of my hand or this part of my thumb right here, and I just switch between thumbs because until the glue cools down a little. And there we go. That's our first rosette. That's all it takes. Okay, and like I said, does not matter the color of these circles because they're gonna get covered up. Okay, let's do our second one. So let's do it one more time. We're going to kind of train our rosette to how we want it to go, and we're just going to pull in and press down. So we have kind of trained how we want it to go. So now we're going to take our largest circle, and being careful not to burn our fingers, we're going to kind of fill it with hot glue and lay it face up. And we're going to center our rosette over it and press it down into the glue. Again, goes down really nicely once you've trained it one time how to make that rosette shape. I'm going to hold this for a second. There we go. I'm going to take my smaller circle, put some glue into the center of my rosette here. And then I'm going to fill my little circle. Don't burn your fingers. And put that right over the top here. Woo, that's hot. So I'm just going to kind of, till that glue cools down. It only takes a second for it to cool down here. Okay. And now you can see it's not popping up anymore. If the glue's not quite set, this middle will start to pop up. So it's not popping up anymore. So this is what we have. All right. So our next step, and I'll show you why it's our next step, is we're going to take our twine. Okay, let me show you on one of the finished ones. This is how we're going to tie this to our packages. So I have a good, probably, let's see, 12 inches. And I just used twine because I thought it went really nice with the look of this. And what I've done is just tucked it into one of these back little insets from our rosette. And I just hot glued it in there. And it's not coming off. So I'm going to show you how I did that because it was real trial and error trying to figure out how to do it without making a mess. So I've just got a silicone spatula here that I'm going to use to help myself out. I'm going to fold my twine in half. And then I'm going to take this end that's got the loop and I'm going to knot it. And this is only to really give myself a place to put my hot glue. I tried to do it without a knot and it really was making a mess on the inside of my rosette and I did not like that look. I felt like it was messing it up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take my hot glue and I'm just going to put some hot glue on that knot. Just a dab of hot glue. And then I'm going to take it and set that knot down into the crease and then use my spatula to kind of press it down. And it's as easy as that. Trust me, before I figured this out, like I was making a mess and it was taking forever. So let's do the next one. Again, we'll fold our twine in half. Find the middle and knot it. And the way I'm knotting it is I'm just looping it in on itself and then tucking that through. And then I'm pulling it down as far as I can to the end. Making a nice knot. Put a dab of hot glue on the knot. Try not to burn myself. And then I'm just going to lay this in any groove because we have not established where our top is yet. And I'm just going to dab that in. And this is why I like to do this step now, because instead of last, because I don't want to have to fiddle with trying to get this stuck up inside this once it's already on. On top of that, we haven't, if we do it now, we haven't established where the top of it is. So now when we lay these pieces on, we know our top is right here where the string is. So we know we're going to be right side up. All right. So now we're ready to just put the front and back on. Now I've already stamped these ahead of time because you can use any stamps that you want. I'm going to take my art glitter glue. And what I did for the fronts of my tags, I just cut this little, like, it's like a red wood grain. It was in the paper pack here that I'm using. And I just cut a 2-inch scallop. I have a 2-inch scallop punch. If you do not have, and then these circles here are from my circle dies, okay? And actually, no, these were punches. These were a circle die, okay? So I could just pick the right size. If you do not have dies or punches, what you can do is just take anything that's a circle shape, like I have here my water bottle, I have my Fabri-Tac bottle, I have my glue stick, anything that's a circle shape that's the right size. I've got my little squirt bottle here. I'm just grabbing things that are in front of me. And you just trace that circle out on a piece of paper and cut it out. You do not have to have punches or dies. You can do this project if you don't have those things. So what I'm going to do is just attach my fronts. These, like I said, these red ones here are my fronts. So I'm going to just use art glitter glue. I am making a mess. Look at me. Jeez. And then I'm just going to center this and glue those down. There we go. Center that and glue it down. Okay, so let's get these hot glued. These are exactly the same, so it does not matter which one they go on. So I'm just gonna run hot glue all the way around the edges, and then what I do is just start swirling inside till I get to the middle. Now I know where my top is because of my string. So I'm gonna make sure that my words are right side up according to where my string is. And then I just use the palm of my hand. And the reason that I do that is your rosette is kind of uneven on the top, okay? So because our folding and our scoring, it's not perfect, it's a handmade item. So I use the palm of my hand to kind of mold this piece so that it makes contact with all of the ridges, no matter what height they are. Okay, so let's do the next one. Again, I start with the outer edge, and then I just kind of swirl to the inside, making sure that I'm right side up here. And then with my palm, I've got glue strings all over, and I just alternate palms because it's hot. Okay, so there's the fronts of our envelope, or of our tags, our envelopes. Where is my head at? Okay, now we have the backs. So these two are the same no matter which one. So I'm not going to pay much attention to what goes together on which one. So I'm just using my art glitter glue. I'm going to center this onto here. Get those glued down. I love these stamps by May. Okay, now what I have done is my my scallop that I used here for the outer edge, I'm going to match those. I just punched a scallop out of, I believe this was actually a die because it's bigger than a 2-inch. And I just I did the scallop out of the same paper as the ornament. So I'm going to just match those up. And I'm going to see where our string is glued in right there. It's going to be covered. That knot's going to be covered. So that's perfect. That's how it's supposed to be. So again, like the front, I'm going to start around the edges and then swirl till I get to the inside because we want to make sure we get contact with all of the ridges. So I'm just working to center this yet cover up the knot. Do this one. Get this down. All right. Making sure we're right, we're up and straight with the top of our tag. All right. And it's as easy as that. There we go. Now, I just kind of felt I wanted a little, as cute as these are, I felt like it needed a little color to break things up. So what I did was I just put some sequins on the front in a lighter green color. So I'm going to just pull some of those out. And I did 3 on each one. And I just picked my spots that I wanted to put them on. So because I've done like 10 of these, I know exactly where I want them to go. So I'm just going to put my 3 dots of glue. Then I'm just going to lay my sequins into the glue. And I just think that adds a little something to the front. That way it just doesn't look so flat. There we go. And now the other one. So we have 1, 2, and 3. We'll put our sequins in. Now, You see how you have some glue seeping out of the edge of the sequins? That's going to dry clear. The art glitter glue does dry clear. Because the sequins kind of have a curved back, I like to put a little extra glue on there so that I make sure that it doesn't pop off. All right, and that is our finished gift tag. Oh, so cute. I love this project. And here's some of my other ones that I did in some other different designs. Let me show you those. So this one kind of has some holly on it. And this one has like chalkboard writing. This one looks like a sweater print. A little winter print on it there. And then I have, this was some deer. Really cute paper pad. Let me see if I can show you which one this was. This was last season. Probably more a few seasons before that because I got it at Tuesday morning. This is called Christmas Lodge. So that's what I used for paper. And so what do you think? And are you going to join me in making Christmas tags every week up until November? I would love for you to join me in this endeavor. I just think it's a really nice thing to do for somebody. And I think that it's going to be really fun and we can explore some different kinds of tags. So give it a try. Join me on this adventure. And as always, have a wonderful day and God bless.